Good evening, everybody. This is the 11th episode of Cultist Simulator, the library run, playing as Ivan Vucetich. So, we have made it to the Mansis. We have formed the Society of the Holy Wound. We've got we have one follower. We have the option of getting a second one if I so choose, and I probably will use them. And I actually don't have anything to study right now, but we will work on that. So one of the challenges that I'm going to be running into for the next little while is my ability to generate followers. So one of the things that is nice about getting the rumor is that it gives you access to followers a little bit more quickly than talking about the occult, but it comes at the cost of a notoriety, and too much notoriety, I'm going to run into problems with the Suppression Bureau, or I'm going to lose followers, which is kind of counter to the purpose of the exercise. So one of the things I'm going to try and do here is not just get a heart follower, but get a higher level heart follower through doing things like being able to upgrade a subtle flaw. Whether or not I'm actually going to be able to pull that off is a whole other question, but that's going to be my next sort of minor goal. That's also going to mean that I spend a bit more time in the wood than anything else, but that's more of a secondary consideration. So overall, we'll think a little bit. What I want to do here is maybe just give a recap of what the overall goal is. So the purpose of this librarian run is to have one of every text in my library at the end of the run. And I will consider myself to have succeeded in the run if I've done that, and I will not consider myself to have succeeded in the run if I experience an ending that is other than that. So the previous run didn't succeed because we did not get the text that we needed from Oriflammes, and so we went for the kind of the more standard detective victory. And so how am I going to be getting these other texts? Well, I'm going to be getting these other texts by going into vaults. Now, to go into vaults, I do not actually need followers, right? I don't even need summons. What I need are hirelings, although it's a very expensive way of going about it, and also very random because, the likelihood of me finding followers or finding hirelings that exactly match what I'm looking to do on the expedition, it's something of an open question. Or alternatively, I just kind of keep throwing bodies at the expedition and, just make sure that I have the funds to be able to keep dealing with the failures. But one way or the other, neither of them are very good. Neither of them are very good options. So, in order to get to the vaults, what I would like is a reasonably well-populated cult. I basically like a credible chance of being able to get the contents of a vault. And obviously to get the vault itself, I'm going to need some secret histories. So the main goal right now is to get followers, and in particular, I want to get followers who are heart followers. And again, that's just to deal with the reputation problems that will come from fulfilling objectives and from trying to get new people. Whether or not we succeed is a whole other question, but I think that's going to be the main goal right now, because at the moment I don't have any ability to gain additional texts. So for now, let's go back to the world of dreams. Now I pass between scarbark trees. The moon passes behind branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I'm stumbling over roots now. It is tempting to drop to all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. Season of Vision's coming up. We'll keep our nose clean as far as any fascination's concerned. Mind you, fascination isn't something I'm all that worried by. I don't see a situation in which I really don't see a situation in which I generate fascination voluntarily. Or, sorry, involuntarily. Saliba is a man of prodigious appetites. He has long passed the point where their satisfaction has given him any pleasure, but he has learnt so very much. Okay, so let's go and take... where are we? Let's take the Igavine right. Speak of esoteric matters. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. And actually, in this case, I don't think it hurts to speed things up a little bit. I'm usually reluctant to do this, but it's going to be a little repetitive for the next while because of the 2 steps that I need for followers. So in this case, I'm willing to speed things up a little bit, possibly to the relief of some viewers. Okay, we'll take that occult scrap for start. I walked in the wood last night, and the scissors worked in the distance, and furred things crammed in my mouth and swarmed my ears, and I felt the old urge to drop to wolf fours and nose among the roots. But I remembered that I walk upright by day, and I know fire and steel and words, and at last I found where the velvet had concealed a secret on tree bark beneath moss. I read it then with the tips of my fingers, and I think now that I could write it in full. So this is our first occult scrap. Secret histories are layered beneath the one we know, like notes in a rare wine. This is a detail from one of those histories. Exploring with a scrap of knowledge may uncover secret locations in the capital. Yeah, I'm usually reluctant to speed things along, but in this case, there's a little bit less for me to get kind of get caught unawares by. So in this case, I'm willing to make an exception. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. Come with me. Okay, we don't have any dread at the moment, although we may generate it from the investigation. We're fine. My investigation has turned up no new clues. Investigating a target, the more reason I use, the better my chance of success. Now, peculiar rumor. This is a great example of the sort of thing that, the sort of dilemma that I'm faced by. So if we get the... Oh, we can't read the description here. I don't think I'm quite ready for it yet. So in this case, we'll try the well or the temple of the wheel, an awareness of appetite. So every sense is heightened, every sensation deepened. Now if we get a knock influence, that actually kind of helps. Now I pass between scarbark trees, the moon... Oh, sorry, we've got that already, sorry. The reason I'm reluctant to use the rumor right now is because of the notoriety that it'll generate. So those rumors will become useful once I have a heart follower. Airs are calm, the sun is steady, the glory recedes. I'm sane, if that means anything. Enid! Alright, Enid's a very welcome addition. Enid speaks softly, and sometimes her gaze doesn't focus on anything visible. It may be you've dreamed the same dreams. So we're going to switch to talk about the occult scrap for the next little while. I'm also going to realign my lore a little bit. There's not enough room for everything that I have in mind, but we'll start with this for now. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. Now, I just wanted to illustrate something I talked about in the previous episode. So if I take the Igavine right, so in this case, actually this will also give me some insight, so it looks like I can't use the secret histories in this case. I can, however, use reason. Really? No, reason to break it down into smaller fragments. Okay, yes, so I was mistaken in what I said. So study with any lore fragment of the same level, except secret histories, to upgrade to a higher level knock lore, or study with reason to break the lore down into lower level fragments. So the thought was that maybe I'd be able to use secret histories to go higher up in the Mansis. Didn't turn out that way. It's still not bad that I have the Society of the Holy Wound. It's a very useful cult, but it's not quite the same as before. The advantage that I have here is a little bit less than what I thought. It's going to be more about the influence that I'm going to be able to level up. You know, if we consider that the advantage at all. But that's fine. I'm not upset. I'm not upset that I'm not able to do that. It's just a little. It just means I have a little more work for a couple of things I wanted to do. I think I've actually been caught by that once before. But again, not a big deal. Investigating a target, the more reason I use, the better my chances of success. Okay, so let's go to the Temple of the Wheel this time. Trembling airs. Toes tap, all is brisk and all is well. The Mansis in the wood beyond the walls of the Mansis, a jagged rock rears like the petrified remains of a dancing giant. I trailed my hand along its flank, over the eye signs and lichen and the crude graffiti of the lesser wood powers, and I felt the thrumming of the wood, the wheel, which is past. It is past, but something continues. Right, some days are better than others. Sometimes the sky is nothing like a filthy sheet. Sometimes the river runs clear. And the wolf despair prowls elsewhere. No dread empowers this despair. It's over for now. We have a season of visions coming up, so not too worried about that. And we made progress. So I'm happy to collect the extra money for that. So the drawback here about this fast mode that I'm doing is that it's a little bit less of an opportunity to read the text, although in this case here a lot of the text has been quite repetitive. So again, right now we're really just adding people to the cult. Let's try the Temple of the Wheel this time. Furtive is welcome. A detail smuggled in from an adjacent narrative. Don't speak where you may speak this where you may be overheard. In my sleep, I came to the high jagged rock, which is still called the Temple of the Wheel, though the hour-called wheel is long extinct. Another hand had scratched a secret in the black lantern on its flank. I burned that secret into my memory to preserve for waking, before the velvet came out of the velvet wood depth and erased it. The velvet is jealous of her secrets. Now I pass between scarbark trees. The moon passes behind branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I am stumbling over roots now. It is tempting to drop from all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. Leo. Leo is an earnest sort with an interest in the occult. He hangs on your hints about the invisible arts. So this is a fairly important recruit for us. So we're going to take the time. We'll take the Society of the Holy Wound. We'll take the Iguvine Rite. We'll add Leo. This one is ready, and we are going to employ reason in our study verb. The world is awash with printed words. Even the newspapers contain knowledge sometimes. And I'm safe now. My adversary has not enough evidence to bring a case against me, and they found no new clues. Season of despair coming up, and as long as we don't get spooked while pursuing our quarry, my investigation's turned up no new leads. We're reasonably safe from dread. We may still get hit by it on this round, but not the same, not quite the same threat. Investigating a target, so the more reason I use, the better my chances of success. So if it's not clear why I added the reason, see if you can figure out why I did that. It may not come up, but it's a fun one. Again, I don't mean to suggest that these are super big puzzles or they'll crack open your understanding of the game. But particularly because I'm rushing through things right now, and I take a lot of things for granted. It doesn't hurt sometimes to take a minute and rather than just sort of like, I don't know, it's an example maybe of how I like to engage with videos, whether they're, you know, YouTube videos or other things that I'm watching. It is sometimes fun to sort of actively participate and sort of have some ideas about maybe why certain things are done. I guess the analogy I would maybe draw is if you like watching chess. So like I do like chess, but I'm not that good at it. And so the reason why I like giving this example is that, you know, you can watch chess and maybe it's just fun to watch the pieces move. You know, that's one perfectly reasonable reason to watch chess. Another reason might be you like playing chess, and sometimes if you watch someone who is good at chess, you may gain a greater understanding and appreciation of the game yourself. And one of the ways, if you play chess, that you might enjoy watching a chess game, or even just, you know, reading a previous chess match, it can be to sort of follow along and maybe think about what you might have done in those particular situations. And so similarly here, the idea, what I'm trying to do with these examples is to say, you know, in my own playthroughs, you know, I've hit a point where I don't worry too much about dread or fascination. I'm by no means the only, you know, broadcaster or player that feels this way about Cultist Simulator. But it's a, you know, that's a product of me having played this game so much, and I feel very comfortable with the mechanics. And if you're just starting the game, it might seem like, at least for me, when I watch people who have played a game for a while, sometimes the you know, sometimes I just saw something on my phone. I shouldn't be looking at it. Like sometimes I'll be watching somebody play a game which is quite complicated, and I'll sort of feel like, oh man, they seem to get all the breaks, and it's not like they're facing some sort of different RNG than I do. But what's likely happening is that they sort of know how to handle certain events that come up. And so again, like one of the things I like to enjoy is just think a little bit about how they've built a situation where it feels like they get all the breaks, where in fact what's probably happened here is they've set up circumstances where they're able to take advantage of things a little bit better than me. So what I like to do here where I can, if you happen to like watching videos the way that I do, it's nice to leave these little hints in terms of saying, it's maybe a little odd that I'm just using this reason and this study verb right here. What is it specifically about Leo that made me decide to use the study verb again after I've ignored it for so long? And it may come up, it may not, but if it does come up, we'll be able to talk about it now. And if it's not obvious why I did that, this is an opportunity to think and say, what is it specifically that changed? And maybe it's not Leo, but, you know, it's the thing I would look for, you know, when looking at something that's changed in terms of the circumstances. You know, why would I behave differently in this particular case? And specifically, what is this new action that I've taken? What is the benefit that it's going to get me in relation to this new information? All right, Leo is an earnest sort, but he's prepared to do what he must. So, with that very long digression out of the way, let's continue to speak of esoteric matters. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. I'll take another occult scrap. Another occult scrap. I walked in the wood last night, and the scissors worked in the distance, and the furred things crammed in my mouth and swarmed my ears, and I felt the old urge to drop to wolf fours and nose among the roots, but I remembered that I walk upright by day, and I know fire and steel and words, and at last I found where the velvet had concealed a secret on tree bark beneath moss. I read it then with the tips of my fingers, and I think that now that I could write it in full. So we'll definitely take another trip to the woods. Now I pass between scarbark trees. The moon passes behind branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I'm stumbling over roots now. It's tempting to drop to all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. investigation has turned up no new leads. This is just the most profitable way of me using the work verb, so I don't mind continuing the investigation. We just read that, so I'm gonna leave it. So we're doing okay in terms of potential vaults. Obviously there's more than 3 vaults in the capital, but nope, I'm gonna need to extend that vitality, so we'll go for fresh air and exercise. Long walks kill cobwebs. And we have a season of suspicion, so for instance, if I had used one of those rumors, that's something that would have that's something that would be used to generate evidence against me. Alright, the constant clatter of closing doors, the damp stains on the station walls, the smell of boot polish and unwashed constables. All this narrows to a single crystalline truth. I have made progress and earned myself some overtime pay. So again, we're doing quite well financially. This is of course the reason why I continue to go to the inspector job. Let's try the well. Alright. I won't complain about furtive truth, although I would have liked something a little different. The velvet is strong at the well in the wood, and the velvet is the hour that keeps secrets. But now and then she lets a little secret fall, like a crumb at a feast. Last night I found a moss-clad rock written all around with the secrets of another history. I might give thanks to the velvet, but it would be wiser not to draw her attention. And we've got a hanger on, so not the most exciting option, but I'll not complain about new followers. So we'll talk about an occult scrap. We'll head back to the woods. And we'll carry on as before. Alright, so we'll have some health to, or we'll have a vitality to deal with the affliction a little bit. I've neglected my studies, but I stand a little straighter. This is going to mean that we have to halt our trips to the wood for a bit, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. Okay, my investigation has turned up no new leads. Getting the damning evidence is nice because I get a little extra money, but as you can see, we're already in the 20s as far as cash is concerned, so I'm certainly not worried about my financial position. I don't want to worry about the peculiar rumor, so let's try the well. Well, vitality is hard to complain about. Exercise, or something rarer, has invigorated me. Use this with another vitality to improve your abilities. Lasts only 3 minutes if unused. Well, it will probably be unused, but we'll see. All I need now is time. So a new acquaintance in a little bit. Here's another who would ascend before me, so they're improving themselves in secret. And we've read whatever's to hand. The words contain knowledge, now I contain it. It's a little like theft, a little like feasting, and a little like the progress of an infectious disease. And my investigation has turned up no new leads. Investigating a target, the more reason I use, the better my chance of success. Alright, the sick room grows close and stale. Time to get up, so we will head straight back to the wood after this. And we found Porter. Porter was a barber until the court case. Speak of the esoteric matters, and I'm happy with where we're at right now. There is the argument that I could, I could send a follower out to explore, but I don't quite have the same need for exploration as I do in other circumstances. A rival is at their business in the shadows. They're still hiding. What exactly are they up to? a target, the more reason I use, the better my chance at success. Alright, my rival's mood has softened. My rival is observing professional courtesies. I have received a cautiously civil letter, although it discusses nothing of consequence. Might there someday be an opportunity for us to join our powers? Occasionally, a rival's resentment may diminish. I don't think they have any resentment of me. Alright, we'll skip the buzzing in the brain. Another The velvet is strong at the well in the wood, and the velvet is the hour that keeps secrets, but now and then she lets a little secret fall, like a crumb at a feast. Last night I found a moss-clad rock written all around with the secrets of another history. I might give thanks to the velvet, but it would be wiser not to draw her attention. So, overall, 3 of each secret history. That's definitely not a bad little haul. We still have certain things we'd like to achieve before we go too strictly on the... There's a few other things I want to get out of the way before I really start going nuts in the capital, but I'm reasonably happy with how things are developing. I also didn't realize that we're picking up a new patron. Oh, this is interesting. A day for new patrons. Huh. Okay, we can learn from each other. Investigate. Still not following up on peculiar rumors, so let's try the Temple of the Wheel. Nuts. Toes tap, all is brisk and all is well. The wood beyond the walls of the mansis, a jagged rock like the petrified remains of a dancing giant. I trailed my hand along its flank, over the eye signs and lichen and the crude graffiti of the lesser wood powers, and I felt the thrumming of the wheel which had passed. It has passed, but something continues. And Madame Bichet. Alright, we're gonna see what commission Madame Bichet would like. She's seeking pieces for the notorious Carisham Review. Yes, I'm happy with where we're at. And a very substantial forge commission, so we're not going to be doing those works for a while. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. We'll leave the study verb empty for now, and rivalry. A murderous scheme. So the weary detective is not investigating right now, so there may be a murder. I'm safe for now. My adversary has not enough evidence to bring a case against me, and they found no new clues. Season of Visions again. As long as I don't go anywhere too scary, we should be fine. Investigation has turned up no new leads. I walked in the wood last night, and the scissors worked in the distance, and furred things crammed in my mouth and swarmed my ears, and I felt the old urge to drop to wolf fours and nose among the roots. But I remembered that I walk upright by day, and I know fire and steel and words. And at last I found where the velvet had concealed a secret on tree bark beneath moss. I read it then with the tips of my fingers, and I think now that I could write it in full. So, 4 occult scraps. I'm having a little difficulty with the UI. I wonder what's causing that. So see the shadow here? I thought there was a snap. It's a little weird, but nothing. I don't think it's too bad. Not quite sure what caused that, but looks like it's solved itself. Or has it? I have a couple of bits of weirdness, so maybe I'll shut the session off. I am actually exactly at the 30-second mark, but let's do one more trip to the wood, and we'll see what followers we get out of this. Yeah, so whenever I try to move the screen like this, it seems like it's reacting a bit differently. Okay, an acquaintance, come with me. Interesting, I'm not able to click on this verb. Okay, well, tell you what, I do actually want... Oh, here we go, Season of Despair. So I was going to wrap it up there, but I want to see who's coming out of the... out of this. I am going to reset the session, though, after this video, just so I can avoid the trouble. Alright, scheme to murder a hunter is afoot. A rival intends to end a hunter. This may be to my advantage, but it may also draw attention. Investigating a target, the more reason I use, the better my chance of success. Excellent. This is going to be where I leave it. And it's because there's going to be a follow-up. So, this is what I was waiting for in terms of how I was using the study verb. So we'll read the text. Last night I came in the wood to the high jagged rock called the Temple of the Wheel. Its flank, patched with black lichen and eye signs, opened like a mouth beneath my hands, and I walked the whispering space within. The gods who were stone, the first of the hours, are almost all gone now, but here their voices remain: Wheel, Flint, Tide, and the others without names. Alright, so I'm going to leave it there, but in the next episode we will see the other half to my curiosities with the study verb, and we'll see why the Society of the Holy Wound, even though I'm not able to subvert secret histories, can still have a couple of other nice little tricks. But we will save all of that for the next episode. I think that's Fridays, so possibly the last one for this week. I'll figure it all out when I upload them, but thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.